All right. Hello, everyone. We're running about 2 minutes late. I apologize for that. Appreciate your patience. We're going to give a second for everybody who is in the waiting room to properly connect. So we have a good presentation for you today. Again, appreciate your patience. Well, we're going to give about a minute or so for people to properly connect to the presentation. Another few seconds here. See, people are still funneling in.
Nice, nice.
All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is William Mucker. I'm a client executive with Camaplan and would like to thank you all for joining us for today's webinar 10 Benefits of Investing Passively in Apartment Buildings with Joseph Kimbrough of Apex Real Estate Investments. As a quick note, please be aware that we will be answering questions at the end of the chat presentation. However, feel free to use the chat and/or Q&A function on your screen to pose your questions whenever they cross your mind. They will be saved and addressed once the presentation portion ends and the Q&A portion begins. Before we get started, we do have a brief disclosure to go through. Everything presented in today's webinar is strictly for educational purposes. Camaplan is a neutral third-party administrator of IRAs. We are not attorneys, CPAs, or financial advisors. If it comes to a time where you need advice in any one of those fields, we highly recommend you consult with your team of professionals. We are more than happy to be a part of the dialogue with your team of professionals to make sure the investment process is quick and seamless. We do not sell any investments at Camaplan, nor do we endorse any products. We will never call you about the next best investment opportunity. We believe that you should always do your own due diligence before investing your money, whether it be your retirement funds or otherwise. Once you have found the investment that is right for you, we will help you open your account, fund that account, and facilitate the transaction into that investment. Here is my contact information if you or anyone that you know who you believe can benefit from the information have any questions about what is discussed in the presentation today and how it applies to self-direction. Please do not hesitate to contact me. I would be more than happy to help. And without further ado, I'm going to pass the controls over to you.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Can you see that?
Yes, I see that now. Awesome, awesome. So my name is Joseph Kimbrough with Apex Real Estate Investments. This right here, we're a private real estate investment firm that invest in large apartment buildings throughout Texas and also the Southeast. And so I'll be going over the benefits of what it looks like investing in multifamily through a private equity fund. So we can go on to the next one.
Sorry, bear with me. It's not
Oh, no, you're
there we
fine.
go.
Nah, it can be a little, this is a disclaimer similar to your disclaimer, just giving them some more details. All this is saying is that, it's really good for them to read through the private placement memorandum that we will give them. And this is also stating that you should read through the subscription agreement. So all this information is going to be there for legal purposes. This is a Reg D fund, 506C, meaning for accredited investors. Okay, we can skip past this one. All this is saying is pretty much though, is that this is for people who are going to be investing. It's not for public view to see this pitch deck. And so about us, what we're doing is we're looking to go in and get apartment buildings, provide equity to these apartment buildings, and to generate the cash flow for our investors. So the way this works is, let's say a syndicate, a big group, they come in, they need $500,000 or $1 million from a fund, then we'll provide that equity, and every property within the fund is beneficial for our investors, and it mitigates the risk to our investors. We can go to the next slide. So this is just giving you some management information. The way it's set up is you have Apex MM1. That's the company's manager of Apex REOF. And then it's telling you that I'm the manager of Apex MM1. And so basically it's just telling you exactly who is the owner of the company in this entire section of the slide right here. And just a little background information of myself. I started in real estate as a professional deal finder, a wholesaler. So I used to go out there, get properties under contract, sell them to individual investors. So, or sometimes a fund, whomever was going to buy the property cash. I would go out there, whether there was a rental investor or a house flipper, I would find the deal for them and make sure they always work for them, where they made money. So I basically took that same knowledge of how to look and find a deal and brought that over into private equity, where now I'm able to vet which apartment deals to invest in that's going to generate the best returns for our investors. This is also letting you know that I served 4 years in the Marine Corps as well. This is just also just some added stuff. Currently in this fund, we have over 800 units. Currently, I also have over 20,000 social media followers. That's over 10 on Instagram, over 10 on LinkedIn as well. Slow down a little bit. Go back.
Sorry about that. This one?
Yeah, right here is good.
Okay.
So this is going over the target properties. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide you with quarterly cash flow, quarterly distributions. Our goal here is to hold these properties for anywhere between 5 to 7 years and to give our investors a 2x return. That is the objective. That's what we push for. Those are not guarantees, but like I said, that is what we push for. So what the investment process looks like is, let's say you want to invest, then we will schedule a call. You have a conversation with me. Then what you do is you're going into pretty much the investor portal, and then you're able to end up investing from that point. This is just giving you the walkthrough process. But can you scroll through a little bit further? That way we can get to the actual benefits.
This good?
Yes. We'll actually go one more.
Okay.
Go again. This is giving you fund parameters. Let's go to the benefits. Go again. Sorry about that.
You're good. This is
Keep going.
There was a slide that said benefits a few slides ago.
Yes, there was that one, but no, it's a little further ahead.
Okay. Tell me when to stop.
Here we go, right here. Now, to get to the actual benefits. Sorry about that. So what we're going to do is now go over the 10 benefits and why this is beneficial for someone who has a self-directed IRA. Here are a few of the benefits here: group purchasing, ability to leverage, but let's get into the actual details. Scroll over. There we go. So as you know, investing in multifamily is very capital intensive. What that means is it takes a lot of money to be able to invest in one of these here projects. What that also means is the average person is, even the average accredited investor is not walking around with millions of dollars to be able to purchase a large apartment building by themselves. So you need a team. Just like in sports, like you see in the background here, the football, you need a team in order to invest in these kind of projects. And so that's the benefit of investing into a fund. So also the operational efficiency. So think about it this way. Let's say you're investing into single family properties. When you invest in single family properties, it's typically one door at a time. Now, going back to when I was in single family real estate, that is why I chose to move into apartment buildings. Is because when I was looking at, I was selling away equity, but I wasn't acquiring any equity. I looked in and I said, okay, well, how do I want to build up a portfolio? So when I actually studied the numbers of what it looked like to build one house at a time, and I realized the risk of someone not paying rent and they move out, now that's putting you at risk to now have to pay your mortgage plus that mortgage. Let's say the other tenant don't pay their rent. Now you're paying their mortgage. So you can see the problem when you're building one house at a time versus when you scale into an apartment building and you're going in at 100 units at a time. If 10 people don't pay their rent, 10 people are going to be leaving and you can move 10 more people in. But that's not going to hurt you financially because you have 90 other people in that 100-unit apartment building paying their rent every single month. So it's not as it's not as risky of becoming a financial burden. So one of the things that we look for also is appreciation. So when we're going in, and you notice in single family real estate, going back to my background again, when I would go through and run comps on a property, it doesn't matter if you put $1 million into your property, your single family house. If the houses next to it sold for 250,000 or $300,000 at their max ARV, then that's what you're going to get for it. I don't care if you got a Lamborghini sitting inside that house saying this is coming with it, you're still going to get 250,000 for the house. Whereas in multifamily, we have the ability to increase the value and appreciate the property just by making a few minor changes. So let's say, for example, like in this picture here shows you, you reduce the water bill by 25,000 per year at a 5% cap rate. The property value now just increased $500,000. Same thing, if you look over on the number two and you charge an extra $10 per month on 50 covered parking slots, and so that's $500 a month, $6,000 a year at a 5% cap rate, you just added $120,000 to the property value. And then also, when you increase the rent at a $25 per month unit, and we know rents have been increasing a lot more than just $25 per unit. At a 5% cap rate, the property value increases at $600,000. So when it comes time to sell this property, you're selling it at a significantly higher price than what you paid for it. So that's a huge benefit of being invested into multifamily. Also, I noticed too, with the return of capital, in better times of interest rates, what we would do is you can do a cash out refinance, but I would not recommend that right now. But you'll see some of the portfolio and see what we're doing later. But here you have the ability to get 100% of your capital out of the property within 2 to 3 years if we do a cash out refinance, and then that money goes to you. So that's what this is stating here. Now, for the passive income side, this is a truly passive investment when you are investing into a multifamily and you're doing it as a group because you have someone else managing the property. Something else I noticed when I was transitioning more into investment versus just selling a bunch of properties as a deal finder was that the passive income from um, rental properties, single family rental properties, is very much active because you actively have to manage that property, even if you have a property manager, and property managers don't necessarily want to just manage one property at a time or 100 individual properties all over town. So now when you are into this here, now it's truly passive. Also, you get your first distributions within 90 to 180 days of acquisition of the property. And within typically within a year, the cash flow is going to increase. And the cash flow increases each year because the first year you're paying down all the debts, you're doing all this here renovation to the properties. So when you're doing all that renovations, that again, that's where the money is going. So year two, you're going to see a larger amount of cash flow, and year three, even larger. Now, for the tax advantages, this one, if you're investing through a self-directed IRA, from my experience, we've actually still sent out K1s, but it doesn't necessarily benefit your taxes as much as if you're investing with cash and if you're a real estate professional. But for this one here, this is something I would talk to your CPA about and also with Camera Plan about just to see the best way that that can work. But you still receive a Schedule K1 every year. Um, Also, though, if you when you are taxed on this here, this is long-term capital gains tax. But the purpose of investing into a self-directed IRA is to delay those taxes. So uh, they can get into more detail about that with you if you talk to one of them and see how that pairs with this here. Now, private equity has outperformed the stock market. It typically outperforms the stock market, and there's a history showing that. Um, Here, what this is telling you is that you will get potential above market returns through real estate. Uh, and this is going again year one to expect anywhere between 5 to 7% in year one, but it increases as high as 15 to 20% after year five. Sometimes that can be after year 3 to 5. And then this is also going over into the return of capital, strong capital gains, also tax advantages. So this just putting all that stuff together. All of that together is going towards your above market returns. And then this here is just showing you what kind of what do you call those? Can you help me out? Self-directed IRA. This is telling you what you can use to transition into a self-directed IRA in order to invest.
Okay. What type you're talking about? What types of
Like,
plans are
yes,
eligible to
exactly.
be
What kind of
to
plan?
invest? Okay.
Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. What plans can be used to transition to a self-directed IRA so that you can invest?
Perfect.
There we go. So this is the portfolio right now. This property we got last year at a fixed rate of there you go right there, at a fixed rate of 2.95% interest. It's interest only until 2030. And also the loan doesn't mature until 2035. So this is just to show you what we decided to do when, when interest rates started to rise, you had to become more creative. I work with two big syndication groups, both of which are in the top 200 of the Inc. 5000 list. And so this one here, they found this property here, and this is also at that 131.5 million. It's also one of the largest deals done by women only. That's sitting at the head of it. There's some more pictures of it. This is actually my favorite property. I love that pool. It's in Phoenix, Arizona. This is the first property we invested in with the fund. This is Austin Arms in Charleston, South Carolina. This property here is 160 units, and we're gonna hold it for like 6 years and then turn around and sell that one. But this one will probably average out about anywhere between 15 to 20% ROI. And all these properties I'm showing you are in the fund already. And when you invest in the fund, you benefit from these properties, which is another one of the benefits. And this is the most recent property. This one is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is 240 units that we got here. The senior loan is 37 million, but just to get into the details of what it looks like, we invested in the mezzanine debt part of it. So it's a 10% mandatory return on investment yearly to the fund that goes straight to the investors. And then also in year three, it'll be a 16% preferred return that will also go to the investors as well. And there's some pictures of this one. That one has a pretty nice pool itself. So with the investor reporting, all this is showing you is that we are going to give you pretty much monthly reports. And this is everything you're going to get on that monthly report. So you're going to know every single thing that's going on with the property. Even now, my investors, I even give them my personal contact information and my email so that they have the ability to reach out to me and ask me any questions that they have. And then also I have the contact information of each operator that I work with. That way, any question I don't have an answer for, I can go straight to them and get the answer for my investors as well. And it's just going to more details. Like you literally get everything, variance reports, budget comparison, accounts payable details. You can look through everything, know every single thing that's going on with the property. Or like one of my investors does, he has a CPA look through everything, or someone else that he has. So this right here is the QR code. So anyone who's interested in booking a call with me, you can scan this QR code and then schedule a time and we can have a conversation and I can get into more detail of what it looks like and any questions you have, you can ask me directly there. And then obviously on this here webinar, you can ask me questions that you have currently.
Perfect. Thanks for that. We do have a few questions at the moment that came throughout the presentation. And again, I encourage people watching now to use the Q&A and or chat function to ask questions while we have Joseph with us now. The first question was just a general question. It looks like your name was spelled two different ways. I'm assuming the one that's on the screen right now with the QR code is how you properly spell your name.
Yes. And
Oh,
I'll talk to my marketing team about that. Thanks for pointing that out.
of course.
How
Another
you
question.
spell that name?
That's a very important a starter point. How long have you paid investors without ever missing a payment?
How long have I paid investors without ever missing a payment? That's a good one. That's a good one. I say 2 years.
2 years. Okay, thank you. Another question from an anonymous attendee. Are any of the distributions tax advantaged or tax protected if the investment is through private money rather than the IRA?
So wait, ask that question one more time.
Are any of the distributions tax advantaged or tax protected if the investment is made through private money rather than IRA or qualified funds?
So if it's private money, then you get tax advantages, yes. But if you're investing through an IRA, then it's tax protected. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Of course, yeah. So you're saying there are tax advantages if you
Exactly. You
invest
get
with private funds, and then qualified funds by nature are tax sheltered, so to say, in some ways, or either they're tax deferred in a traditional IRA or a like type account, or they're tax free if they're in a Roth IRA.
exactly. If you're doing through that, then yes, it's tax deferred. But if you're investing through private funds, then it's not necessarily tax deferred, but you do get tax advantages such as bonus depreciation, which you can write off on your taxes in year one. So let's say like right now, there's 40% up to 40% that can be written off. You invest 100K, 40K off, assume you get the maximum. So 40K is off on your taxes for this year.
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. We have a comment that says, "Congratulations on your success. Thank you for your presentation." And at the moment, we're looking for more questions. If anybody has them, now is the time to ask them. Or, like Joseph said, you can scan the QR code and speak with him directly offline. Um, Joseph, do you have any closing comments before we wrap it up, and to give some time for people who might be still typing their questions?
Yes, so closing comments. I really wanted to get straight more into the details of the benefits today. I know, like in the beginning part, it was like a lot of the fluff of, hey, this is the numbers and this and that. Did not want to bore people with all those numbers though.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like that's all the questions we have. People might be looking to ask questions directly offline through that QR code. So I appreciate the presentation today, Joseph. And I appreciate everybody's time who spent time to watch this presentation. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day.
All right. Thank you.